Hello, so this video is going to be a recap of what we covered in our previous lesson in looking at how do we sanity check our raw data before we actually go and import it into our database. So as you can remember, I gave you access to the DocShow raw data in a text file. Here it is here. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to go and import that data into Excel, because when we open this in the spreadsheet format, this will allow us to actually sanity check the data before we put it into our database. And this is important. It's much easier to go and spend some time fixing your data, the raw data, before it's actually in the database itself. So I'll just shut down this raw text file, and then I'm going to go and open up Excel, and I'm going to go and find where I have saved that particular raw text file, and it's here for me. I'm going to select it and click open. And Excel is quite a nice robust tool. It will automatically go, you obviously want to go and import this text file and put it to a spreadsheet. It has correctly identified the fact that the data has actually been used tabs to separate each of the fields, so that's absolutely fine. And we can go forward, we can double check, oh yes, no, these are all in the correct fields, and then we can go and click finish. So now all this data has actually been imported into our spreadsheet. But the next check we need to go and do is we need to go and sanity check whether it's actually correctly given it the right type. You might notice when we imported it, it said general for a lot of it, which can be pretty fine for everything with text. It has correctly gone through and set all of the data for date here to the date time, but you might want to specify whether you prefer a long date or a short date. I'm just going to go and make sure it's in a short date format. That's absolutely fine. But then we start noticing the problem here. So if we just have a scroll through, we go, okay, something here is not quite like the other, and neither is anything here. So the problem here is that whoever entered this data made a mistake with it, and they didn't go and use the colon. So I will go and fix that one. And then this one has no further, doesn't have the ending tail on it. So I'm going to fix that inconsistency in our data as well. But at the same time, if I click on it, it's gone and set it to a custom. So it's set currently to a custom option. And we don't want it to be that because obviously this is a time. So we'll go and highlight all of this data, and we'll go and manually set that to time. And now this is in the correct time format. So we have done a bit of a sanity check and corrected a little bit of the data that we noticed had some problems in it. It doesn't mean that you can't go and correct data in your actual database. It's just, it takes a little bit of extra time sometimes, and usually you want to go and have like a nice, clean, fresh data being to be imported in which you know that the integrity is as good as you possibly can make it at that stage. So now I'm going to save this as an Excel workbook. So File, Save As, Browse. And I'm just going to save this into my DocShow resources file. And this is going to be saved not as a text file, but as an Excel workbook. And I'm just going to save it with the same name like this. So now that's been saved, I can close out. So here it is. We've now got the same data, but now in an Excel spreadsheet format. So step one has been achieved. The next step we had to go and do is we actually had to go and create our database. So I'm going to go and open up a blank desktop database. And I'm actually going to close down and delete this table because it's an empty one. There's no point having it there. And the first thing I wanted to go and do is I wanted to go and actually create, based off of this ERD that we were using as our design basis for our database, we wanted to go and create the dog table. That's what we did yesterday once it loads up. So we just wanted to go and create this dog table. Thankfully, I have actually gone and written out all my SQL commands for this. I will give you access to them later. So I can go and take my create table SQL command, and then I can go and actually run and create a query. At the moment, I have no table, so I can close that down. I'm going to change it into SQL view, and I'm now going to paste in my table there. I usually like to save it first before I run it, just to be on the safe side. So this is a create dog query. And now I'm actually going to run this command, and it has created for us this table. Let's open it, have a quick double check. Yep, so it's got all the information I wanted in it. We can also then change our view to design view and just see what data types it's set us for. So it's set me a number, which is completely expected. That's absolutely fine. Short text, number, date, time, number. So I'm very happy with that. It's done exactly what it said on the tin. So next step for us to go and do is actually to go and import in our raw data. So we can go to external data and we can click on this Excel option. And I'm going to browse back to where my file is saved. And I'm going to, yep, only one thing, because that's my Excel spreadsheet. Open it. And I'm going to say, yep, cool, that's good to go. And now I definitely need to tick this. So the first row contains column headings. Yes, that's definitely the first row. It definitely contains column headings. So that good tick. Let's go to the next stage. And then again, it does a nice little check for us to go and say, are you sure this is what you want? So it tells us what it's going to set it to. So short text, date with time, that's fine. We've got across, it's going to see the time one as well, because that was the other one that did some interesting stuff for us last time. And yep, it looks good, date with time. Yep, perfect. So I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm going to allow access to set the primary keys for this one. And that's what it's going to call it. Perfect. I don't have any problems with that. And finish. Cool. I don't need to save the import steps. So now I've got two tables. I've got the table I want to put my data in, which has, well, this table itself has been normalized to a 3NF. But I have my unnormalized raw data, which I need to go and move, not all of the data, but just some of it. And I'm going to take you through that step in the next video.